Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Community Connection.
Oh,
Boy, I really blew that, didn't I? Already. We're on to a great start. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning.
The Melvinator.
You used my government name.
Your government. Oh, sorry for that mess up there, Taylor.
You know what? No big deal. I'm
Hey.
loving the blue this morning.
Oh. Hey, have you ever been to Barry's Pizza
No.
on Main Street, downtown?
Isn't it Benny's?
Oh, yeah. That. Wow.
This
Can
is
we,
going to be a
start
great
over?
hour.
Yes. Have you been to Benny's?
Yes, I love Benny's.
Yeah, right across from Free Clinic. Had pizza there yesterday. They serve one slice on two. It takes two plates to serve one slice of pizza. It's amazing. Well, I was going to suggest you should take some of your little Gen Z friends down there and have some pizza if you've never been there before. But
Deal.
you're cooler than I because you've already been down there. Have you ever been to?
No.
Benny's, Berries, whatever it's called.
Benny's. I've heard of it though, and I know how
Have
to
you?
say it, but I just haven't been there.
Yeah, you should try it sometime.
All right.
All right. So, I'm going to hand this over to you before I make another mistake.
Good, because you forgot to mock me today.
I still have time.
No, you don't. I have the mic now. So we're happy to have Christy Lucy here with us. I'm going to see if I can get this right. Christy is the Director of Partnership for Healthy Communities at the Community Access Network.
Good job.
Which is located downtown. And Christy and I have gotten to know each other through a lot of efforts to cause some collaboration. Us from the perspective of Vision 30, wanting to make sure that everybody gets better. Because when everybody gets better, then kids are safer, and they're in their families. And so we want our community to get better. And so we've been focusing on collaboration. So we're going to start out. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your reason for wanting to be involved in this kind of a work that you do?
So a little bit about myself. My background is in marketing, public relations, but for the last 15 years, I've been in the healthcare space. And recently, since joining Community Access Network, I found a real love for trying to connect communities and partners and really trying to dig in and foster true collaboration beyond just referring, beyond just networking, but true collaboration, which is really what fills me up.
Can you give a definition of what true collaboration would look like?
Oh, gosh. Don't put me on the spot.
I just did.
Oh, no. Okay. So in my mind, true collaboration is not just, like I mentioned, referring a client or a patient to someone, but actually looking at resources of multiple organizations and seeing what talent or strength each organization can provide to offering a solution. So, it's tricky because some organizations don't want to give up certain things.
Exactly.
But that's what you have to do in order to truly have a collaboration and make a solution that fits the need.
Collaboration used to be about showing up at some meeting to find out what the other people were doing, right?
Right.
That was collaboration.
To make sure that you didn't have competition from the grant money you were looking for or whatever. Collaboration is what often happens. I remember Bill Marner, who has passed away, was the director of United Way, and he was up here meeting with our senior leaders, and we were talking about collaboration. And he said, Lynchburg really hasn't been great at collaboration. He said because true collaboration means that both people have to do something a little bit differently in order to make it work. And so if nobody's changing what they do, it's not really collaboration. And that's the reason why it's a steep hill to get people to do that, because it means everybody has to change, and change is not everybody's favorite thing to do.
Right. And Bill was great about just being an ambassador for collaboration. It's so greatly missed.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, first about CAN and what it is, where it is, who do you serve, and why did you guys decide to do this partnership plan?
Okay. So Community Access Network is a health center that's located downtown on 5th Street. And it was created out of a need because of overuse of the emergency department, because there wasn't enough primary care offices and there wasn't enough for people that didn't have insurance or on Medicaid or Medicare. So Community Access Network was formed to be that space for people so that they don't have to go to the ER for that. And so that they're able to see a healthcare provider even if they have to walk in. And even if they can only go on a weekend or late hours. So by design, Community Access Network is open till 8:30 at night on the weeknights, and then 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the weekends, just to try to provide that access for people. And then it's also an affordable option because it exists for people that are on Medicaid or Medicare or don't have insurance, so that they have a resource to get their health care. And then the beauty of Community Access Network is it's also integrated. So it's not just primary care. There's also, gynecology services. There's also pediatric services. But then it's integrated with our behavioral health team. So it's not just, your body wellness, but also your mind wellness as well. And then we have, we're very proud of our community health workers that are at Community Access Network, and they provide some of that social support for our patients. So the center, again, designed to be a health center and open and available for people. It also has showers and laundry services. We offer, in the winter, warm blankets and sandwiches for people. And then our community health workers try to provide that service of connection and social support, so trying to refer them to services in the community that they might need.
How is Free Clinic connected with that, or is it?
Yes, Community Access Network is a great partner with Free Clinic. We share some providers, and then we also share some services. Gosh, now I'm having trouble. I was doing so well.
It's contagious.
Refer patients back and forth,
Okay.
depending on the service and the need. Free Clinic was also one of the partners in the beginning to create Community Access Network.
Different funding, though, different?
Yes,
I'd
different
say
organization, different entity,
gotcha.
but a strong partner.
Yeah.
And where is it located?
Community Access Network is on 800 5th Street, which is right at the roundabout.
Right.
And I know at the moment that roundabout is under construction for the Thornhill statue that will be going up in a couple of months. But the health center is right there at the roundabout, right in the heart of 5th Street downtown corridor, and that's the neighborhood that we serve. Is the people in downtown Lynchburg that have trouble accessing health care.
And so, if I were trying to decide whether to go to the Free Clinic or to CAN, which one would I go to? And like, how would I know which one to go to?
Of course, I'm going to tell you to come to Community Access Network.
But isn't there a differentiation?
There is a differentiation. The Free Clinic is primarily volunteer run, but also it serves patients that do not have insurance.
Okay.
Primarily. Whereas we can accept Medicaid and Medicare, and we can accept private insurance as well. We do have quite a few patients that fully embrace the mission of Community Access Network, and even though they have private insurance, and it is a higher pay rate, they still come because they really embrace the mission.
And I confess to sending my grown kids there because with special needs that they have, they aren't always don't plan well. So, like making an appointment, remembering when it is, getting there. Like, no, you can walk in at any time.
Right.
You're going to get served right away. The behavioral health piece, being able to, if you've forgotten to get your meds renewed for 3 weeks and now you really need them today, then you actually have a hope of getting your meds renewed there without having to have see a psychiatrist in 6 months or whatever. So,
Right.
yeah, pretty cool. And so, your role as the director of Partnership for Healthy Communities means what, and who sponsors that?
So Community Access Network is the backbone entity for Partnership for Healthy Communities, and that was by design because of the equity focus that Community Access Network has. Partnership for Healthy Communities is a coalition. It's not a 501c3, but it's a coalition that was formed out of the need for understanding the health of the community. It has recently been restructured from what it was previously. It was strongly tied to the community health needs assessment. But as the years have gone by, here I go. Partnership for Healthy Communities started in 2018 as a way to facilitate community engagement in the health needs assessment process. But now those partners have gotten a strong sense of what they're able to glean and the work that they're doing. So Partnership for Healthy Communities has shifted its focus. Now we're focused more on really trying to provide resource for the community, really trying to advance equity, because that is going to allow our community to have the health and well-being that they desire.
So I want to talk just for a couple minutes. You mentioned the community health needs assessment, and some people may have no idea what that is.
Right.
But I know you and I know a lot about it. So where did that come from? Who pays for it? How's it done? And how often is it done? What does that look like?
So the community health needs assessment is done every 3 years, and it takes a lot of work, and it's an assessment of the community through primary data and secondary data. It's literally going out and surveying the public, trying to ask questions about their health, their needs, their resources, what they have, what they don't have, their demographic information. And that information is pulled together. It takes quite a while. It usually takes, it's like a 9-month assessment process, and then in creating the assessment report. But that then tells the stakeholders, primarily the partners that have been involved in creating that. Centra is the spearhead for that. And then there's other partners, including Community Access Network, the Free Clinic, the Lynchburg Health Department. But it tells all of these organizations, then it provides this rich data of the community and the needs, so that then as organizations are requesting funding, they can utilize that data and that information and say, oh, look, this is what's happening in our community right now. We can make a difference by doing X, Y, Z. So it's really a great tool and provides a great resource. And in the beginning, Partnership for Healthy Communities was part of that process because there wasn't any infrastructure to do that within any one organization. But now Centra has developed its Department of Community Health and has a great leader to take that on. So the need for PHC as the community arm isn't quite as necessary because now there's an infrastructure there. So that was why we then shifted our focus.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, boy.
What were the top 3 needs in Lynchburg this last assessment? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. Okay, can I just say that the assessment, Centra does one for Lynchburg, for Bedford, and for Farmville region. And when the assessment came out, I was in Bedford.
Okay, so tell us about Bedford, just to give people an example of what they might be.
Okay, so there's generally a top 10. And within those top 10, the top 3 are always mental health because, as everyone knows, mental health is a crisis right now. So mental health, and then trying to think of which one
wasn't Bedford transportation?
Transportation always comes up in Bedford. It comes up sometimes in Lynchburg too, but Bedford's such a large county. The transportation is always an issue. But there were some unique ones this last time.
Access to healthy foods, was that one?
Yeah, healthy foods was one. But then because it was just after COVID, the last assessment was in 2021, aging and elder care came up as one that we hadn't really had as a topic before. And that was also what came up in Lynchburg as well.
Didn't they declare Bedford a daycare desert or something like that? Something equivalent to that. And there's not enough quality, affordable daycare for those who need it.
Yeah, child care was another big one. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's kind of narrow because it focuses on things that are related to health. Yeah. So the questions are worded in such a way that if it's not completely related to health, it doesn't necessarily come up in the assessment. But so is this a good time for
a good time
for our commercial? You can set it up.
Yeah. So I think this is a new video for everybody regarding our Kinship Navigator program. So let's take a look at it, Liam.
I think simply put, kinship care is family, fictive kin, which is godparents, close family friends, stepping into the primary caregiver role for a child.
A relative gives of their time and their resources to care for someone they didn't give birth to, but it's out of love and it's out of just desire to stay connected and keep them within the family.
Anyone who has that close relationship with a child, being willing to step in and say, like, I'm going to be that safe space for that child, and then keeping them from so much other trauma and other experiences. I just love that they're able to step in and be that person for them.
Kinship Navigator gets to be not just a piece that wraps around a family, but also the connector that is bringing so many of the other pieces to that circle of support so a family can be stable and move to a place of thriving.
I've had a lot of background in direct care roles, and I love being able to provide that assistance with people without that direct care portion. So being able to meet the family where they are when they call is really important to me, to be able to work through what they need and get them connected with those needs.
So everyone needs help from time to time, and when you become a kinship caregiver, you need help accessing those resources because, you know, there's a lot out there that you might not be aware of. You are becoming a caregiver after maybe 30 years of not having a child in your home. Kinship Navigator, we connect those families to the community resources that they need to go from surviving to thriving.
Kinship care is nothing new. Kinship Navigator, far more new, and that's part of our job, is to explain that, and essentially it's our way to get involved with the family. One of the beautiful things about foster care, it's put in place, and there's financial support and there's social support. The label itself doesn't change anything, but it gives validity to what you're doing.
So we often like to start with just asking them to, hey, tell me your story. Tell me what has brought you here today. And it's just so great to see them open up, and some of them feel relieved. They're like, oh my goodness, thank you for listening.
I think the most common need is support. And honestly, navigation, kinship navigation. They need to know where to go and what to do in this new role in their life. And sometimes it's just a listening ear.
When I started my journey as a kinship caregiver, I didn't know at all that that was a term or that it was a thing. I just knew that my husband and I, as uncle and aunt to our niece and nephew, that we were taking care of them. And gosh, wouldn't it have been nice if somebody had come alongside and said, did you know there's this program you can call? There's no charge to it. And their only goal is to help you assess what's going on and to say, here's some areas where you're really got some good strengths. And here's some areas where it looks like you could use some support.
It's important to have people in your corner because it can be isolating as a caregiver. And I say that in the sense of, you might be going back to stage 1, having babies in diapers and crying, screaming tantrums in the grocery store when you haven't had that for 18, 20, 30 years.
Most of our families come through referrals. So we have connections with DSS, we're connected to CPS, we're known in a lot of the school systems. So a lot of it is a referral sheet, and we get the referral with a brief description of who's caregiver, what's the role of the child, how long have they been doing it, what's their phone number.
There's a lot of the aunties and the uncles, even godparents. Even if you were a child's teacher and you built that relationship with them, in the future, if they were to need a safe place to go, you could be that person for them.
I think family is a huge support system, and I don't believe that family has to be blood. I think family can be your community. I think family can be a social worker. Family could be a friend. Family could be anyone that provides you with that support that you need to get through even the smallest struggles.
Family is something that can be a constant in your life, and I just love that you always have someone there that has experienced life with you, that will continue to experience life with you, that has made an impact in your life.
And that's what we do at Kinship Navigator. We would talk to our caregivers and we assess the whole family, and then we say, what are areas we can come along and journey with you? And if somebody would have journeyed with us along the way, I think we all could have taken a much deeper breath and had a stronger foundation to start from. And I want to give that to people.
Beautiful video. What I really like about that is how it's strengthening a natural helping network that already exists out there, right? It just makes a lot of sense to support family who want to help but often can't help because they just don't have enough resources or enough information, enough knowledge. And so we're just kind of coming alongside of that. It's just real natural, and it's beautiful.
And then it almost is, a tie into what we're talking about today, because those navigators can be a hub of the collaboration piece of how do we connect these families to the people who can serve them. And a lot of people who do the work all the time have that stuff in their heads, and they might be able to refer to the right place. But our Kinship Navigator staff, they are committed to knowing the resources like nobody else does and really understanding the nuances of each of them so that they're making great referrals to those families to connect them with places like CAN. So we're going to finish up our time today talking about Thrive. And so try to explain what it is, and I'm just going to let you do it. And talk about, the people who started it and what we're doing and how we're moving forward. So,
Right, because the start of it was a breakfast brainstorm between you and I, right? I mean, it was your baby, your idea, but
but somehow I've got it put completely on your plate, which is making me so incredibly happy.
Funny how that happened. Gee. So yes, the Thrive is under one of the initiatives of. Let's see. Here we go.
Sorry.
Of Partnership for Healthy Communities. It's under our collaboration initiative, and when we were sitting around at breakfast, we said, we have all these great organizations in our community doing great work. We have these coalitions and collaborations that are happening and doing things. Some are effective, some are not. What if we could get everybody together on a regular basis to really understand what each other's doing and really start having a true cross-sector collaboration? Because there's a coalition just for housing, and there's a coalition just for mental health, and there's, all these different things, but are they really connecting? So that was our idea. The logistics of actually putting that idea into practice, it takes a little time, which I know poor Claudia, she wants it done yesterday because she can see the vision.
Yesterday.
She can see the vision, and I can too, and it's I love her passion. But it's taking some time to pull all of the players together. So we have right now 11 because one sector really kind of combined together. We had a mental health sector and a substance abuse sector, and they both said, let's just be one sector. So we have 11 sectors of the community that we've identified a leader, and we've partnered those leaders with a resource from the University of Lynchburg, which we were very excited to have University of Lynchburg at the table. That was a dinner meeting, right?
Yep.
That was a dinner meeting with President Allison Morrison Shetler, and she was super excited and on board and wanting to help make this idea become a reality. So we're thrilled to have University of Lynchburg as a partner and thrilled to have the resources of the faculty and staff available. So the idea is that each sector leader has an outcome that they really want to try to make progress towards. And they work with their university faculty to really make sure that they have the right measurements and metrics in place in order to do that. And then we, on a monthly basis, track that progress to see, hey, here's what we've identified that we want to work on, and here's how it's actually changing, which we don't think has ever been done before. If it has, I haven't found it. But it's collaboration with data, which is a hard thing. So that's part of why it's taking a while to get going. But it's trying to get those leaders and faculty to really identify that outcome and those measurements so that we can start tracking that progress. And we're in the process of pulling all of the outcome and metrics together now, and we're going to pilot it fourth quarter of this year to see how each sector is going to perform, make any tweaks, because again, this is we think, brand new idea. And Claudia and I have been very intentional on saying we're not rigid or stuck on a certain piece of this. We want to be flexible, and if something needs to change, let's change it. So we've been trying to be very fluid, which also means it takes time.
This is collaboration with a capital C.
Yeah.
Right? And
an N at the end.
And as you described it, I was thinking, I don't know anywhere, I've never heard of anything quite like this. So that's just beautiful, right? And if we can't do it in Lynchburg, then where could it be done?
Right.
Exactly. So let's get this going, right?
Yeah, and I think that the idea was that we're actually pulling the leaders of collaborations together to form one collaboration. And there'll be monthly report outs of the metrics that people will attend and hear about. So that's kind of the idea behind it, that if everybody's working on the same thing, they don't have to change what they're doing, right? That's the concept. We can do what we're doing, and the other child serving agencies, because I'm the subject matter expert for child care or child abuse and neglect and in foster care. And so we use Vision 30 in the gathering as our collaborative meeting, and we came up with our metrics already. So an example would be that ours are that we're going to lower the number of high risk and very high risk CPS investigation conclusions by 10% in a year by focusing on the low and moderate risk families. So that's our goal. And once everybody has their goal, we'll start measuring those, and we'll have a place that those can be reported so everybody can go look and see the progress of everyone. And we can see how we can help with that, because all the other people who are doing that, they're going to be able to help us, the people who are dealing with substance abuse or mental illness. They'll know that they can help with that number two as well if they're focusing on families with that. And then we'll be able to help with the things that they're doing as well. And that's kind of the brainstorm idea, just one big group of people who care deeply about the city of Lynchburg, and then what can we do together to make it different.
Because efficiency was a big key part of this as well. Like she was saying, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We didn't want to come up with all new 11 new little sub-coalitions. We wanted to utilize what's already existing and really just build up that foundation and make it stronger and use that to connect all the different sectors together.
Now, is it limited only to the city of Lynchburg, or does it include the surrounding counties?
Right now it's just Lynchburg, but those people all touch the rest of the county.
They do, yeah.
Right. So, but the goals are Lynchburg specific.
Okay.
Because it's easier than data collection from all kinds of places. We wanted to start small, do data the first year that was pretty Lynchburg centered, and then see if there were people that wanted to add to that year two.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because it's hard to gather the data.
Yeah. We're not trying to limit to Lynchburg, but trying to work smarter and not harder by starting small.
So many folks in the surrounding counties come to Lynchburg for services, right? It just makes sense to start there. Yeah. That's some beautiful stuff. So, you guys, what's next? You having another breakfast soon?
Actually, we're having a non-meal meeting tomorrow, right?
Yeah. We're meeting at University of Lynchburg for a planning meeting. And it's like a 4:00 meeting, so there's no snacks or anything.
I know. I don't know how that happened. Because what is it? I heard this quote: "If it's a meeting with no food, it's an email."
Right.
It's a good description.
Maybe I'll just bring some snacks.
Okay.
Okay. I'll bring snacks.
Quickly, I'm just fascinated. How does a person who's been in marketing move into this space?
So,
I mean, the light bulb come on. What happened to say I wanted to go into this space?
Well, that transition was, having a marketing and public relations background. I worked at Bedford Memorial Hospital, and I was their community engagement coordinator.
Okay.
So really, a PR marketing role. But in that role, I was really the only person suited to sort of drive the community health needs assessment process in Bedford. And that's where I first understood about trying to understand the community and really get that information and collaborate with partners. And it really excited me. So then when Christina Del Zingaro approached me, she said, why haven't you applied for this position yet? I said, I don't know. Let me look at that. Yeah. So
it's good background and experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you were being trained for that.
Gee, yeah, maybe.
Well, about that. Hey, in our remaining moments, why don't you look at the camera there and tell folks how they could help in any of the things that you've talked about today. What is needed?
Okay. So for Community Access Network, we are always looking for feedback from our community, whether you're a patient at Community Access Network currently or someone in the community that has a strong idea about what we could do better in the healthcare area. We have monthly community conversations at Community Access Network, and so I invite anyone to participate in that. There's no RSVP required. It's the fourth Friday of every month at 11:30. We usually have a light lunch, so anyone is welcome to participate and share your thoughts and feelings, and we'll share updates about Community Access Network. And then as far as Partnership for Healthy Communities, we're still in the building phase, but anyone that is interested in being part of Thrive or any of our other initiatives, you're welcome to check out more information on Community Access Network's website. There's a page for Partnership for Healthy Communities, and feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to get you connected.
All right. So as we close up our session today, Liam's going to put contact information.
Great.
So people can respond to you. This was a good. We started out kind of sloppy because
you started out kind
a
of
little sloppy.
Don't do the we thing unless it's we.
I'm going to put all of the blame on Taylor, the Melvinator back there, for not properly preparing me for today's episode.
And I don't see donuts, and so
Where's the donuts?
That's what it was. There's no donuts.
She
in
was
it.
on PTO today.
So Sue's the only person who knows how to buy donuts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to blame it on his bright shirt. It's so bright. It's just kind of
that's what it is.
overwhelming.
See, it always comes back to me. It always comes back to my blame. To me. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week on Community Connection.
Nobody gets to choose their family. If a person is fortunate enough to be born into a healthy family, then life can be much like floating down a smooth, gentle river in the summertime. But an unhealthy family is like a dangerous river, filled with rocks, debris, and fast-moving water. This river swiftly leads to the steep waterfall of adulthood, tragically forming a new river of dysfunction. Even if you aren't born into an unhealthy river, there are many streams that cause a person to get there. But there is only one way to get out, and that is through a meaningful relationship. Across our region, there are many agencies, churches, and families who are devoted to helping children escape from unhealthy rivers. Some feel their role is to wade in and rescue children. They foster, adopt, or provide safe families. Others stand by the river and support the rescuers by providing what they need. Still, others are upstream and stand in the gap to keep children from ending up in the negative situations. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we see ourselves as having an additional role. We are running up and down the shores of the unhealthy river, screaming, "Can't you see the children in the water? You have to do something." Vision 30 is a 10-year initiative. By 2030, we envision a region where all children are safe in their own family, or with caregivers who are supported by a local faith community. So, where do you stand at the river? Are you upstream, keeping families together and strong by standing in the gap? Are you in the river, directly impacting children? Are you on the shore, providing support for the brave folks who have entered the river? Or are you just passing by without noticing? No matter who you are, come down to the river with us. Let us help you find your place. Not only will lives be changed, but you will never be the same.